Greetings, mind crafters, and welcome to another exciting Minecraft conversation in our living room. So it's a little bit drizzly outside. I tried it, but it was like on the cell phone. I don't think cell phones are too fond of wet. But anyway, my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm so pumped. Again, I just love doing this. I have a blast. I'm so pumped to talk with you today about 12 keys to happiness. And so I gotta give a big shout out to one of the greatest spiritual thinkers ever, Dr. Wayne Dyer, and he's one on my list I would have loved to do lunch with. He's since passed, amazing man. Up there with Oprah, my very good friend. She's not aware, but we're besties. And Abraham Hicks and Joe Dispenza, and there's so many good ones out there. But anyway, I go in Jags, so I was listening to Wayne. Plus, I love his voice. Feels like a massage to me, kind of. Anyway, so he talks about these. I'm just going to change and add and tweak because I talk about happiness a lot, obviously. So the first one he has is to kind of basically become other-oriented, right? So there's a couple levels to this. And Wayne himself talks about wanting something for someone else even more than yourself. So if you're feeling short on confidence or inner peace or happiness or whatever, and we're talking about up here, you can just send the good vibes to somebody. They don't even have to know. But just wishing that for somebody else actually brings it back to us. Whatever we do for other people, we do for ourselves. The other level of that, which I am really huge on, and in my Mindcraft class that I teach, we do, the students do pay it forwards, actually, because we talk about how conscious acts of kindness, random acts of kindness are good too. I don't know how much anything's really random in the world anyway, but when we actually deliberately plan, we don't have to know what it is, but when we start our day, I'm going to do something nice for somebody today, somebody I don't know, total stranger, and don't know what it is because we got to put it out there, and the universe will let us know who needs what. And we're not talking about a big deal, and we're not talking about money. That's one of the rules with my Minecrafters is there's no money exchange. The one exception, sort of, is that they can purchase like a coffee, that level, or a Pepsi or a piece of pizza or something, that level if they choose, but that is not the idea. You can hold a door open, you can listen to somebody, you can just, whatever. So I'll pay it forward. Okay, that's the first one, paying it forward. Whatever we do for other people, we do for us. And then the next one is, excuse me, a little bit of allergies here, is act as if. So act as if you're already there. So maybe you're struggling with confidence. That's a good one to use. So act as if this fake it till you make it thing, but it's more than that because it's sinking into the feeling, like the body sense of whatever it is already here. You've already started your children's book. You've already launched your business. You've already, let's say you're struggling with addiction. These can be fill in the blank of starting a business to you're struggling with addiction and picturing yourself addiction free, right? You're in this great place and now you're into yoga and you're in this, so picture yourself already through it, right? Super important. Act as if. I feel like I want to get buttons that say that. My mastermind friends and I talk about that a lot, actually. So that's about intention. It's huge. Intend that this is what my life is going to be. And we're saying, and you probably might be saying, or maybe you're saying, but she talked about being in the moment and she wants me in the future. Well, no, it's kind of a paradox because your future intention is in this moment. So that's kind of something to give some thought to. Intention is huge. Attention and intention pretty much sum up the path to a happy, successful, live your highest, best vibe life. Okay, the third one is be an appreciator. Think about it. We think of jewelry and we appreciate jewelry, right? It gains value. It gains value versus depreciate, like drive a new car off the lot, except for us Jeep owners. They say they said, I just have the bare bones bottom type, a Wrangler, but they say those don't depreciate as much. Just throwing that in there. I love my Jeep so much. Her name is Oprah, actually. Okay, so when we appreciate ourselves, we're gaining value. We appreciate other people, we're mirroring that value back to them, and that's all good stuff because they're gaining appreciation of themselves. We're appreciating. There's just appreciation in the air all over the place, and everybody's increasing in value as far as that. The good feels of worthiness, right? Okay, so the third one was being an appreciator. Let's just say these all over again. 1, become very other-oriented. 2, act as if. Remember my buttons. 3, be an appreciator. 4, stay connected with the universe or source with a capital S. We're really connected whether we want to or not to a degree, right? But when we come into that awareness and invite the creator of all things into our lives, we are then in alignment we're in alignment, and let me just tell you, once you're super connected like that, doesn't mean we don't veer, because of course we do. We're human. We're spiritual beings having a human experience, right? But when we're connected to the universe, source with a capital S, whatever, for me it's God, but whatever, universe, we are in alignment, and we feel like we have the world by the ass. I'm telling you that right now. Stay connected with source. Understand resistance. This is super important. This is about green lights versus red lights. And my friend Tom, I've talked about him a bunch. He's my synchronicity friend. And he's got some good stuff coming out, actually. I'll be sharing that with all of you once it's there, but I think fall, with a course and some different things he's doing. But anyway, so looking for those green lights, which means listening to that inner voice, listening to the inner voice. The green lights once you're in alignment and you're, feeling the connection, right, to source, man, it's just people, like it just the universe is just talking through people, things just, if it's just easy, like you just know that that your next move is right, even if it's a small next move. It doesn't have to be a huge next move, because of how it feels. Oprah talks about this a lot. You're buying the right house, that is a bigger move. You know that this person is right for you, also a bigger move. But even if it's go this way versus that way, when you're late to a job interview that's hugely important to you, but you hit some speed bumps along the way and whatever, and then it says, oh, go this way. You just feel it, you just know it. Versus the red lights. The red lights are the resistance. Resistance means don't go this way, all right? And that's just as important to know as the green lights, because you want to, I'm not talking you're guessing, like it's a very evident, tons of resistance. Have you ever heard people say, like, don't give any more energy to that because it's going to get bigger? That's just like a normal thing people say. Whether it's a relationship that should have been done a long time ago, but we hung on and dug in with our claws, and it's just because that's resistance. That is no longer meant to be for you. Or a job, or a friends group, or whatever, a friend, or whatever it is. Maybe where you live, roommate, whatever. So know that when you're creating resistance, because it's super important to understand that. Also involved with resistance is also fear and also self-doubt, because nada comes out of fear that's good. I guess in a very primal sense, fear can motivate us to run if it's like a dangerous situation. Fear can motivate us if people have been telling you for a really long time, you better watch it, overweight and smoking and drinking and not exercising and you might have a heart attack. The fear of that might motivate you, but much better to motivate. It will motivate, with those two examples, will motivate you. So I guess that's but really it's better to motivate with loving yourself to a healthier body and healthier lifestyle. Much better to love yourself there. So really fear, the high majority of the time, nothing good comes out of fear. Total opposite of love. And self-doubt is also, all this stuff's of ego, other than the primal thing I was talking about. We're all afraid of, if we see a massive fire, we're on the edge of a cliff that's, like cliffs of more like 1,000 feet down. It's normal to not go near the edge, right? But we're talking about not that. Fear and self-doubt and things like that. That's all ego stuff. The authentic self who feels whole and complete is living in the zone, totally. Contemplate yourself. This is similar to the act as if. Sort of envision yourself, picture yourself, close your eyes and really reveal all this to yourself, as far as being surrounded with people and circumstances that you are wanting to have in your future. So again, it's not a not living in the present moment. It is living in the present moment. It's inviting your next move to be part of your present moment, to feel it, because we know for a fact, so many people, Tony Robbins talks about it, so many big, high-rolling A-listers talk about this. Definitely Joe Dispenza. There's just so many, because the brain responds to it. The brain doesn't know if it's real or imagined. So if you're just kind of putting it there, think about all the visualization Michael Phelps does and Michael Jordan does, and it becomes routine, and then the brain's like, okay, this is easy. I was actually just listening to a super successful woman on a podcast. Her name is Brooke, and I forget her last name. But she was talking about all this, and she was the opposite of braggy, even though she's very monetarily successful. She was talking about more the self-value road underneath, which is, I watched it like 3 times. And she's like, and then when it finally happens, this cracked me up. She's when it finally happens for her, it was millions. Again, that was not her point, though. Her point was coming up from nothing and rebounding and being resilient from a bunch of things that happened, blah, 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 blah. So when eventually whatever it is that's happened, you launch your business, you write the children's book, you land your soulmate, you just like lands in your lap and whatever, you travel, the house, whatever it is. And if she said, and you get there and you're so filled with gratitude and it feels like Tuesday. That was what she said. It feels like Tuesday. That cracked me up. In other words, it's not a surprise because you've been like rehearsing this feeling, filled with gratitude, saying it, writing it, sharing it. Yes, though not surprised. I love that. Okay, and then understand being in receptive mode. These are obviously not in order because I guess they could be. I don't know if they are or not, but understand being in receptive mode. So that was kind of like when we're talking about the green lights and the red lights. Being in receptive mode is about being in a place of allowing. This is my allergies. It's not like super gross. It's just itchy. That's why I don't want to sneeze. That's why I'm doing this. I mean, it's not the sneezing is bad. I just would rather not do like chain sneezes while we're trying to have a conversation, just in case you're wondering. Okay, so understanding being in receptive mode is being in the place of allowing, which means the path of least resistance, like the green lights, asking, listening to the inner voice, because it's pretty clear when it happens. Sometimes, I've got this, I got a real vibe going. They'd say vortex or whatever, and I will not lightning strike me if I'm making this up. In fact, when I see my friend Tom, this is funny because it happens a lot, and he laughs about it. I'll be on my way to see him or on my way back from having lunch with him or whatever, and there will literally be a bumper sticker in front of me. That's what we just talked about. I mean, it's wild. Once the switch is turned on, it just doesn't get turned off. And you don't want it to get turned off because it's kind of like it's just your inner compass, your inner guidance system directing you so clearly the way to go. And clarity is like the happy trail to success. I mean, it's just, clarity and happiness and all that authenticity. And then it's just like, it's like a neon light and neon sign in Vegas saying, go this way. Or another one saying, don't go this way. And it's that clear. It's so cool. So when you get in that place of allowing, the universe just like sends it to you. It just sends it. And so part of that too is being grateful for all the breadcrumbs. I don't know if Wayne mentioned that in here, but that is so super huge. It's not just when you wait like the big manifestation. Now I'm grateful. You're grateful for the phone call. You're grateful for the tip that somebody might call you. You know somebody's sister's, cousin's, uncle's beagle who might have a tip for you, okay? Be grateful for that little tiny tidbit all the way because that gratitude builds and builds and builds. And that's how the universe, source, keeps sending us stuff. That's how it keeps happening. Think about it. If somebody gave you a birthday present, they walk in the door, you're going to go to lunch, and like, oh, I'm sorry I missed it last week. How about I get lunch and you open the present? It's so thoughtful. I got this for you, and I was exactly you, and I saw it, and I couldn't leave without it. And you take the birthday gift and set it on the table, and you say, okay, later, I'll get to it later. Like, who'd want to give you a present again, right? Same thing with the universe, like grateful for the breadcrumbs. Very important. And then when the whole thing comes together, you're elated and you're super mega times a million grateful. Practice radical humility. I mean, that's basically realizing that we are all divine beings. We're all connected. I'm not going to get preachy. This is just real. I mean, we're all energy, right? We're all walking balls of energy, spiritual beings having a human experience. We're all connected to the creator of all things. And just the humility, I guess, of that energy that's running through us creates worlds. I mean, think about that. Think about the power of that. And it's that grain of sand on a beach kind of thing of just realizing we are such a grain of sand on a beach as far as being connected to this, the artist of all artists, sunsets and beaches and dolphins and mountains and snow and the whole babies being born, the whole thing. Constant state of gratitude. This is number one. This is actually the master key to happiness. We're talking about 12 keys to happiness. This is the master key. Kind of like Hogwarts. When Hagrid has the big circle, the keys can open everything, okay? Or the person at the grocery store, the keys person, when they can open everybody's register. This is the master key to happiness. Gratitude, being grateful for every little breadcrumb, constantly writing in a gratitude journal every day, 3 things I am grateful for, I am grateful for, I am grateful for, not just my dog, my family, my partner, and having the words there. 3 things, that's it. When I do that in the morning, I am done with that before my tea beeps in the microwave. Very important because that rewires the brain. In fact, after 21 days, that's all it takes a habit to shift and stick. You will already be partially rewired. I do that with my mind crafters, and they're blown away by after 3 weeks how they start to automatically look for the positive in their day without partially being aware of it at all. It's so cool. Get the gratitude journal. The next, Wayne and I talks about you can never solve a problem by denying it or condemning it. We got to connect. And the other thing is, we don't want to focus on a problem. We want to acknowledge the problem, but if we focus on the problem, we're going to attract more resistance and more frustration. We want to acknowledge the problem, focus on the solution. Stay in alignment as much as possible, right? And we want to say, I am in alignment. And we're all going to have moments of veering, and we're still always connected to the universe or source. We're always connected. Sometimes we just get a little pulled away by things, right? I mean, so we're not going to be in alignment 100% of the time. Though if we can be in alignment as much as possible, this is awesome. And we talked about this earlier, I think, in a video. I don't say it a lot, so who knows. But once that authenticity switch is turned on, that Mindcraft path, it's rewiring the brain and finding our own meaning and purpose and that one thing we were meant to do on this earth and all that. Once that switch is turned on, you can't turn it off. Even if you get a little off track, maybe a little lost, something inside you is going to know that you got off the hiking path. Like, you're just going to know. And you're going to be like, well, I don't feel right. I feel out of sorts, and you'll get back on. So just be aware of that is the point. And then lastly, again, these are not in order because gratitude and mindfulness should be top two probably. Well, the connection with source, but that's included. Okay, practicing mindfulness. Remember, mindfulness is not meditation, really. I mean, it's not like the traditional forms of meditation. You could say mindfulness is meditation on the go because it's not about creating a thought vacuum, not at all. It's about being present in this moment, actively engaged in your life. That's what mindfulness is. You can be skiing, you can be washing the dishes, you can be snuggling with a partner, you can be in a conversation, you can be eating, you can be walking, you can just be being on the deck with a glass of lemonade, walking, your golden retriever, whatever. It just means being in the dishes or on the walk or in the conversation. That's what mindfulness is. So practice it because, and this is also obviously very much augments our very clear connection with the universe or source, or just different names, same creator of all things, because we are being our divine selves, and it's just so important. Plus, we get more out of life. I tell my Mindcrafters, spend your life minutes as if they are cash. And I give them this fake $1 million bill. I bought them on Amazon because it reminds them that they're limited. Like, you wouldn't spend $100 on a yard sale sweater probably, right? So don't go spending your life minutes like scrolling down, social media for hours and hours and hours, or unless you think that's a great use of your life minutes, and then it's different. Or spending it on, on a boring date. Don't do that twice. No more dates. Like, not with that person. Waste of my life minutes. I might have learned some stuff. Never a waste, because you learn something. So I would take that part back. Giving up a perfectly good Sunday to do some obligation you really don't want to do. Not to say that as adults you don't have to do some things you don't want to do, but you want to really weigh that out because you only get so many life minutes. And so practice mindfulness, be in the moment, be actively engaged in your life, and remember that out of all of these, gratitude is the master key to happiness. And I would roll mindfulness in with that because when you're truly grateful, you are in the moment, right? So those two together, when we are doing those two together, we are so in alignment and we have the world by the ass. Okay, so that's it. 12 Keys to Happiness. This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my living room. Have a mindful day.